here in Dallas, Texas at DPR. Been with KW since 2016, been licensed since 2016, pretty much been here the whole time. I am on a team. I joined the team October 2016, so pretty much my whole career has been on a team, which is City Up Group here at the office, but it's also part of Place. So we've been part of that ecosystem a long time, since like before Place was Place. And I just launched my own team a month ago called the Home Nerds, but I'm still in my team eco structure. So thankfully Place has allowed me to branch off my own brand, but still use the team's infrastructure. And I think eventually I'll add more people to like my team within a team. We call them allied teams. We just use again the same leverage, like the same base. We have a couple teams like that. So I'm excited about that because like you said, Ben, like I've been doing it for a while and I have my own unique personality and I'm finally just ready to go all in and just be myself when in my business. So yeah.
Well, I love that, and I'm excited. I'm excited for what the future holds for you, and because I think I'm expecting big things. And so again, home nerds, was that just does that speak more on branding or more about your personality?
I mean, definitely a little bit of both. Thankfully, a nerd is generally someone that like people believe to be smart, right? And so you want to hire a smart agent. So I thought like it could work, but I've also been that nerdy realtor for a while. And that's my Instagram handle. And I got that name from actually doing a branding session with an agent out of Miami, who's Tara Carter out of Miami. She was doing like branding classes. And I think I was just like Elizabeth Realtor, like before. And she's just like, the first thing I think of when I think of you is like Harry Potter and all your nerd stuff. Cause like I know you as a person and like that's how I think of you. And so she's like, you should just like lean into that. You'll attract more people that you genuinely like. And then therefore that person will most likely refer you more business. And so I did. It was a long time ago. It's probably been like 5 years or something. And that brand has kind of like grown on its own. So I'm like, it's proven concept of like people like this, and like I do help like people from my board game club and my D&D game, and like I practice what I preach. So like it does work. And it's just yeah, I've just decided to roll with it.
I love that. And again, we have a number of newer agents on the call, and so I think it speaks to again understanding who your avatar is, and I almost hate saying that because I feel like I don't like jumping on bandwagons. If I'm not creating them, I don't like jumping on at the last minute. And I think Avatar is one, but I think the concept behind it is valued in that knowing who your audience is and leaning more into that and community, your board games and probably Dungeons and Dragons or whatever it is. There are people who love that and they
And
find
nerds have money and great
see,
jobs.
amen, amen, amen. Well, again, keep leaning into that. So I'm going to ask you one question about the team. So again, you started there, you're still kind of there, but again, I think you're fortunate because you're doing your own thing. And so speak to, and you started with the team almost immediately
Mhm.
because I'm sure you're asked, I know I'm asked, I'm sure Kelly's probably asked all the time from brand new agents, should I join a team or not? Answer that question and then
Yeah.
give me one or two of the big lessons or fundamental principles that you learned from the team that might be able to help a brand new agent.
I think there's two questions to ask yourself that will really determine if you're going to thrive on a team. One, do you need to take control all the time? I'm not a control freak. I don't want all the responsibilities. So, like, I don't want to be a solo agent because as a solo agent, you are all of the jobs. I know where my strengths lie. I'm also a high D. So, if you know, like the DISC assessment, I'm a 99 D. I have negligible SNC. So, I'm not a details person at all. So, right away, whenever I started learning and doing all the classes, I did Ignite, all that sort of stuff. I kind of already knew what I liked to do, which is buyer consultations, showing people. I didn't like the paperwork part. I'm sure our leadership wouldn't like to know that before we had to have buyer reps sign before we showed a house. That was something I did when I was sending the offer because it's just like the last thing that I wanted to do. So the team really provides that for me, that leverage of like that admin leverage that I'm just not going to excel at, right? So that's one thing. The next thing is how, like, do you need people around? So y'all, if you're at the office, you might not see me every day, but like I'm here every single day. I'm in my office right now. No one else is here. It's just me. Thankfully, I live 4 minutes away from the office, but I do better when I have people to talk to. Even when I know the answer, sometimes I'm just like, hey, I think this is the answer. Can I talk this through with you to figure out if it's right for me? I'm not good by myself. I don't work from home. Like I like having people, even if it's not like a team, as in, hey, you have to do A, B, C, D, F, G. Like that's not how our team works. We all pretty much decide ourselves like what our business plan is going to be. We mostly share like the resources, but also like we have our power ups in the morning where we go over things that just like the office has their power up things that we're running into. Do we need help with a certain script? Help open houses, help showings. Like there's a lot of benefits there because I don't want to do it all. I can't do it all. I benefit more from focusing. I'm a big 80-20 rule person. If you guys know the six, personal perspectives, I like to be in my 20%. So whatever I don't have to do, I try not to. So
Again,
hopefully that answered the question.
that was great. You know your lane, and I guess I'm one who has thrived on the other side for 30 plus years of doing it all. And I used to tell folks I was a control freak, but not really. I'm really not, right? And over the last 5 plus years now, having a success manager in Christina and now Destiny, I love them being able to handle some things that I'm just not good at, to be honest. I
Yeah.
think
And I
that's
have
the,
my assistant on the
yeah,
team. Like he's only my assistant. His name is
yeah,
Michael. You might have seen him around too. He's sick today. Normally I'd point right at him.
yeah.
But yeah, and like it's so beneficial to be like, oh, I really like to have this, you know, one sheeter for someone. I'm like, can you make this real quick? And they're like, I have the ideas, and then he implements. So it's helpful.
Right.
That's a helpful aspect of a team too.
It is. I think Destiny probably gets sick sometime of my creating, and I'm thinking of this and that. But again, again, leverage I think is important, regardless of whether you're an individual agent or Black Label Realty out of San Antonio. I think again, having that community and leverage is important, regardless of whether you're a high. I'm an I off the charts, right? My D is not so much. I'm an IS, but again, I understand who I am and
Mm-hmm.
I cater to that. So, you're young professionals. Let's chat
Mm-hmm.
about that briefly because, again, I know that you've probably led the local chapter and involved nationally. Tell the audience what is it,
Yeah.
and how old do you have to be? Because I know we've got a number of folks that are young and maturing like you. So, as an
Yeah, you
old
can be
head,
young at heart. There's
okay,
technically no age limit. It's kind
okay,
of geared to like 20 to 40-ish.
okay.
But yeah, so the Keller Williams Young Professionals, KWIP, we've had the Dallas chapter since 2018. I was a founding member of that chapter. I've been the president of that chapter. I've been the regional ambassador, and now I'm on the board of directors for the national chapter. I will be phasing out soon because even though no one's kicking me out of YP, I believe that leadership opportunities should be left for those that are still growing in their leadership. I've been
Yeah,
doing it for 8 years, so I feel like I've
it's
squeezed the
time.
lemon, right?
Yes.
Like I've gotten what I needed to get out of it, and that opportunity needs to open up for someone else. So I would love it if someone from DPR did, but in general, what it is a group of young professionals at Keller Williams. It is a paid membership, so it's $40 a month. And there's lots of benefits to it. So again, it depends on what you need out of your next phase of growth, if it makes sense for you. For me, the reason I joined is while I love going to Ben's office and I love going to Kelly's office all the time to ask them questions, whenever I was first starting out, like let's say year three, where I'm like, I know what the realtor's job is. Like I know what I'm supposed to do, but like how do I do it the way I want to do it? I wanted to meet with people that had started in the last like couple of years. Cause like you said, you've been in the business 30 years. I can never emulate Ben Baker's first 5 years of real estate. The time doesn't exist, right? Everything has changed. So I wanted to see who's doing it really well right now that started maybe 5 years ago. That's what I wanted. And so I started talking to people at the office, and just by happenstance, KWIP chapter started in Dallas, like literally at that time. And I was like, I want in. And I was the social chair and like, worked my way up from that. But I specifically wanted to meet other agents who were in my phase of life and my phase of business that I could learn from, which is another reason I joined a team. I like seeing people, I like learning by example. So that's how I started. And again, I said I'm a people person. I'm also an I, but 67 I. So I like being around, I like learning from others. So it just really nurtured a lot. I can, if I have an idea, like I did this yesterday, I'm trying to get this listing, and a person called me off my Zillow reviews, which I love, right? It's just a condo down off Preston Oaks, and she's had two other agents before me. So she was like, I'd like to see a marketing plan from you to see what you would do differently than these guys. And I was like, okay, like let me think about it. Like, what would I do different than two other agents that have done it before? And I just put it in our YP chat. Hey guys, here's my situation. What else, what out of the box things would you do? And I told them, I'm like, I think the buyer for this condo is going to be a single woman. Like that's what I said. And a bunch of people gave me ideas. And now part of my marketing plan is I'm going to advertise the home in women's networking groups because I think that's who's going to buy it. And I'm going to do an open house, like a happy hour open house that's going to be called Condos and Cocktails. Learn more about buying a condo. And I'm like, oh, great. But like that came from a little brainstorming with my YP chat, right? That I was able to do because we're all doing the same job when we have similar goals. We're just all over the country, which I think also I could have asked the office, right? Totally would have gotten great responses. But why not ask my referral partners? Half of my business, 50%, like half of it is agent referrals. So it makes more sense for me to start a conversation of things that I'm doing with my referral partners than it does with the office. Again, not that I don't love the office, it just makes more sense to like knock two birds with one stone kind of. They're helping me and I'm staying top of mind with them. They're seeing like what I'm doing and like hopefully when they have a Dallas referral, they think about me. So it's a lot of me talking about YP, but I love YP. So if you're at all interested in that world, especially if you're going to family reunion, check them out. I can't go this year because my birthday party was too expensive, but but definitely check it out. I'm happy to introduce you to folks. But yeah, that's a little bit about the young professionals.
Well, and that was plenty. And you transitioned beautifully into my next question about it, because I think it's important that folks understand that, yeah, it's a great community and you can learn from it, but there's real benefits. And the referral business is what I wanted to speak on. And again, yeah, I think you just touched on it. About 50% of your business comes from this group. So if joining wasn't enough, right? The benefits from networking and leverage from other young professionals from around the country can be great for business. So thanks for touching on that because
Yeah.
newer agents in the class, like I said, I think you won't receive unless you give. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's important, right? So don't consider joining a group like this just to put your name in the hat and go, okay, give me, give me, give me, because it doesn't work that way, right?
Yeah.
And I love the fact that I feel like I try to stay connected with Black Label and Coalition and all these amazing teams from around the country because, yeah, I hope that if there's an opportunity here in the Dallas area, maybe they consider me. And
Mm-hmm.
definitely I would do the same in the DC and San Antonio and Austin areas. So thanks for bringing that up. A couple of things real quick. So here's a question that It's not a zinger. It's not a zinger. Okay. But what I want to know is, and I have to write it down. What are the basics, okay, that bore most of us,
Mhm.
um, but you consistently do?
Um, Contacts. That's really it. So whenever we're setting up all our business plans and like, here's how many open houses you need to do, and here's how many of these, and here's how many of these, I found that for me, again, I'm a high D. It's too much. I need one thing to focus on, and for me, it's contacts. As long as I make 20 contacts a day, I will never be go hungry. Now, do I do that consistently every single day? No. But if I'm in a mode where, so like, I around me on my monitor, it's a very rudimentary pipeline. Yes, it's also in my CRM, but I'm the type of person that needs to see them. So I literally have sticky tabs around me of like my hots, like my hot buyers and sellers. And so every day I look at it and I'm like, okay, here, what do I need to do today? Kind of thing. And I lost my train of thought. What was the original question? Oh, things that the contacts.
Yeah, your
So
contacts.
so I look at them to see like, okay, who do I need to talk to today? What do I need to do? And their priority. They're what gets me fed next month, right? But once they're done, then it's okay, how do I build my pipeline? So I have a win the day. It's right in front of me, literally. I practice what I preach. It's in front of me every single day. I have like I did my math when I was doing my business planning, and I saw, okay, in order to make the money I want with a very conservative conversion, I need to make 10 appointments every month. I need to have 4 pending every month, 3 closings every month. Like that's roughly what I need to reach my ultimate goals, right? I figured that out. And so for me to win at the day, I either need an appointment, a pending, or a closing. And if I don't have any of those, I need 20 contacts. Like that's kind of how I know if I won the day or not. If I made an appointment at 10 a.m., sweet, I won the day. Now I can work on other stuff. But if I didn't make my appointment yesterday, I still have my appointment that I need to make yesterday. So what I have, like this was January, and you can see I didn't hit it a lot of days. I have like I made an appointment or got a pending every day the first week of January, so that was nice. But like I have all these boxes. Those are days that didn't have a pending, didn't have a closing, and didn't have an appointment. So I need to have made 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Like that's what tells me how many contacts I need to make. And so like this month is right here and in front of me. I'm like, okay, so I need to have made this month 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. And I'm like super rudimentary with how I track that stuff. I do it on my iPad and I just write down everyone I talk to every day. I'm mostly a texter though. So sometimes at the end of the day, I'll just go through my text messages and my call log and like my DMs and figure out roughly how many people I talk to. Um, I'm again mostly referral based, mostly review based. So I don't do a lot of other lead gen unless, again, I'm behind. Then it's like, well, I haven't made my contacts. I've called everyone. I need to set an open house up to make these up. I'm more like, I'd rather go to a birthday party than host an open house. So I'm like, what can I go to where I can talk to more people? But that's really the only metric that I really like, though not you. Well, there's several, as you guys could see, but that's it. I just focus on those little things.
Elizabeth, I get the feeling you're downplaying it like it's not much. But sweetheart, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I think that, ooh, don't lose the message here. One, you have a system,
Mhm.
and most don't. Most don't. Now, did the 20 contacts, did they come from Bold, or you were
Yeah,
already
no, they came from Bold.
Yes.
There was a time where if you guys have been in the business for a couple of years, you remember, I think end of 2022 was when the market shifted, right?
Hmm.
Like the rates started to go up, and I lost 100 grand in GCI. Between me and my showing agent at the time, we terminated all our business pretty much for Q4 terminated. We were like, oh my God, what are we going to do? So we signed up for Bold, which I'd done before. It's probably like the fourth time I done it, but I was like, that's a good Kickstarter. So I was like, we signed up for Bold, and I hadn't realized how bad I had been at following up until I did my 100 contacts a week. 3 weeks of doing 100 contacts a week, so that's 300 contacts. 30 people had bought and sold out of the 300 that I called. So that was like a 30 deals would have changed my life, 30 extra deals. And so
Yeah,
from then on, I was like, I have to do it. My database is good. People like answered the phone. They would have potentially worked with me. So that's why I just always keep that number as my standard.
I love it. And again, you have a standard. Again, most don't. You do. And I think that's what separates you from the also rans in the business. And again, hear me when I say a system is a system, and it doesn't matter how rudimentary it is, because I'm kind of like you. I have kind of my day timer, and I log each and every week now how many contacts, how many appointments, and how many leads I get from that. And my coach thinks that I'm killing it. I am not, because he's like, Ben, right now, for about every 6 or 7 contacts that you make, you're getting a lead, which is fantastic. But again, conversion is next, right?
Mhm.
Not that I'm struggling with that, but a lot of that is future business. There is a lease here or there, someone's thinking about. But again, that's a good problem to have. So, and consistency is the key, and that you are. So keep
Yeah.
doing what
And
you're
that's
doing.
why I'm also very conservative with conversion. I
Yeah.
put everything at 50%. I'm like, on my worst day, can I convert 50% of leads? Probably. And that's kind of what I prefer to set
Yeah.
the goals
Be
for.
realistic, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, keep doing it. Keep doing it. And again, it's 20 for Elizabeth, right? And it's crazy for me. I'm embarrassed to say, but it's 5, right? For me, it's 5 a day.
Yeah.
That that that.
There's also a difference, I will say, of like what I count as a contact. Because
Mhm.
remember, most of my partners are referral partners, right? So we're talking lots of sphere, past client, and agents, which is not active business, it is passive business. So if you rely on passive business, you will need to make more contacts. If you're talking to open house visitors from the last week, then that's might be a completely different conversion. So I like of course it's a contact if you have a real estate conversation, if you ask for a referral, but I also count it if I'm just building rapport. So
Mhm.
like that's those are what I count as a conversation. But because I'm building rapport a lot more of the time, it is going to take a lot more contacts because I'm not talking to active buyers and sellers.
Right, right. I love it. I love it. All right, now there's a there's a pop. I'd call her a pop princess that you love, that you've traveled to see, right?
Yes.
Okay, and who is that? Who is that?
Taylor Swift. I'm assuming you are talking about Taylor Swift.
I'm just remembering a conversation 2 or 3 we've had about you going to the concerts and seeing her. So if we've got other Swifties on the
Yeah.
the call
And uh,
today,
and again, it's part of. I'm reaching down for my birthday cards actually, which I'm gonna write today. So I one of my things for referrals is I send birthday cards to all my referral partners. That's I literally made my March list before this call, and I made this in ChatGPT. If you don't know Taylor Swift, you won't know what these are. But like also nerds, I love dinosaurs. People know that. So it's dinosaurs dressed up as Eras Tour, and it says have you're in your birthday era, and I send them a birthday card every month. I'm like, this makes people laugh. It's funny. They also I purposely didn't put birthday on the front because a lot of people keep them and like put them on social media, which I like. But she's also part of my my plan.
I love it. I love it. So I just had to throw that in on you because
Yeah.
I knew I'd catch you off guard there. So finally, maybe 1 or 2 other questions. You love to travel. Where's next? Where are we going next?
My cousin's getting married, so
Oh,
next month is Puerto Vallarta. This year is all traveling for weddings.
okay.
I go to a lot. I'm a popular gal, I guess, but in which the other 2 weddings I'm going to are KWIP friends,
Wow.
like that I that I've made. Like I'm in one of their weddings in South Dakota. And then the other one is in Florida, Melbourne, Florida, that I will be in. He's also I play D&D with him every week. So yeah,
And
it's
what's
crazy.
D&D? Is that Dungeons?
Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah,
Okay, okay. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. Okay.
yeah. Just like do one of
Wow.
these.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Well, again, I love it. So keep being authentically you. You are a nerd and you're special, and I love you to death. So uh, finally, what's next? What's something that you're focused on right now that is a real growth opportunity for you?
So in 2026, my goal is to really get all my systems down for home nerds. So obviously the team has systems and I'll pretty much just be rebranding a lot of those. But it's really like, how do I want to connect with my community? Because essentially what I'm doing is geo farming, right? So I'm not farming a location, I'm farming a demographic. So how do I show up for that community? And like how do I grow and give back to that community? So just trying to figure out like different client events and stuff. I actually have lunch with my board game club owner on Thursday to see like maybe we could do a DPR like game night once a month and use a training room. Like I don't know. So it's mostly trying to figure out like how I want to marry that stuff into like client events and different kind of community events, to use it as a lead gen tool as well, and systematize all of it so that next year I'll think about growing the team. But right now I feel like I need to set the tone and what we're going to be doing.
And building that solid foundation. Again, I think you've done a great job. And like I said, I'm so excited about what's next for home nerds, because one, I think you're an inspiration for sure. And I think so many people look up to you and you don't realize it. And I think I've got the benefit of kind of being inside the circle and yet also, on the outside, 30,000 view, looking at leadership and what it looks like. And I love the fact that you you're moving away because it's time for, I'd say, others to shine. We've got so many talented leaders, and you're like, you know what, I've put in my time, and not that you didn't enjoy it, but I think again, real leadership is understanding that it's time for me to move over and now be a great Indian instead of chief. And
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to think that's one of my talents because I've stepped away from leadership about 3 or 4 times, and this year I thought was the perfect time because we've got so much talent at Dallas Preston Road, and I didn't want to continue to be one of the old heads there. I wanted to make sure that I moved aside so that the Rays and the D's and the Tanishas and all of those people could really step up, have their voices being heard, because I think it's important. So kudos to you for recognizing that it was now your time also to let others shine. Because again, I think that you understand you don't necessarily need the spotlight on you, even though I've seen you on the dance floor. So